What's up, guys? Let's talk about Intruder, which is a first time watch for me, and it is a slasher I watched on Prime, and I've always wanted to see this one. And I love the fact that, like, watching this one, it really was what I expected, and I enjoyed that because this one, I'll start at the beginning. I love the fact that it has Renee Estevez in it, who is in Sleepaway Camp 2. And also, there's a girl in it that looks just like Allie from Sleepaway Camp 2, and it's not the same actress. It's not Tracy, whatever, like from Sleepaway Camp 2. But it just cracked me up that she was in it. And also, they had Sam Raimi and Ted Raimi and Bruce Campbell in it. And they were in kind of different roles. Like, Ted Raimi, I think, had the most time, and then Bruce Campbell was, like, in it for, like, a minute. But it cracked me up that starting out watching this, there were so many different, like, big horror people in this movie that I always love to mention that. Because it's just really cool seeing, like, them going across into all these different horror films. Like, it's really cool that they were kind of like their own little clique of, like, horror stars. That's pretty funny. Now, even though I know this is just a slasher, and I do love slashers, I thought that the first 30 minutes were fine, but it wasn't as super interesting to me. Like, it was totally serviceable, but I felt like as it got farther, I got more interested because some slashers, you can do it without having anything except for killings, but this one just for 30 minutes didn't have much of that, and these characters are fine. They're not anything special or really memorable, but of course this movie isn't trying to focus on the characters. But I just thought the first 30 minutes were a little slow. But these characters were fine. They weren't super memorable, but they were fine. I did like the fact that this has a fun sense of humor to it, though, like some slashers do. And I like that there's like a guy who gets a knife in the head who gets killed, and then he falls down, and there's a sign that says, be careful, knives are sharp. Like, that's really awesome, because of course it's the joke, like he got stabbed in the head with a knife, and then it says on the sign that knives are sharp, be careful. And also, there's this one character who is basically Pauly Shore, who says, like he's talking about this character Tim, like he's looking for Tim, and it's just so funny the way he says it, where he says, Tim, 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 oh, whoa, it's Tim, what a surprise. Like some of these performances are really wacky and really enjoyable, and I did like the fact that they made it a little more memorable, because like I said, the first 30 minutes I was like, this is totally fine, serviceable, but as it got along more, it got more interesting and more campy, and I like when it gets more campier. I'd rather have that than playing it straight throughout, because sometimes it just makes it more forgettable. Sometimes, not every slasher, but some slashers it makes them kind of forgettable if they just play it straight without humor or over the topness, in my opinion. And the gore in this is the biggest point that I've got to point out. Of course, it's a slasher, but I love the gore in this one. I love that there is this, my favorite kill of the movie. There's this kill of this guy who gets his head put in the meat department saw, where like it's running, and like the guy just pushes his head through the saw, and you see it crack through his actual head, and it is so cool, and it's just so fun to watch if you're a fan of these types of movies, and I love that. I love watching that. It's my favorite kill, and that's a really fantastic kill. Really one of my favorites in a slasher movie. I was surprised that that was so good, but I really enjoyed that, though. And I also like the fact that the way they killed off these characters made it feel less predictable, because there's a kill at the beginning where I'm like, hey, this character should have been like made it through to the end of the movie, and like they killed off this one character first, and I'm like, whoa, hold up here, what? That's really great, though, because it makes this movie a little less predictable, even though it is a typical slasher formula. But I did like the fact that they kind of mixed around, like, who should live and who should die, and I enjoyed that as well. And also, the location is a great location, too. It's in a grocery store, and, like, they're at night closed, and, like, there's a killer on the loose. And I like how dark it is, too. The lighting makes it look like there's no lighting, so it makes it look great, because it's so dark in this grocery store, like it should be at night in any grocery store, that you look at it, and it's a great place for a killer to hide and pursue somebody. And it's just a really effective place. Like, I really do like the use of a grocery store, and I like whatever slashers do different locations, and the grocery store is not one I've seen in a lot of slashers so far, but that is an awesome location. So, summing this up, really did like the gore. Gore was a very good standout, like it should be for a slasher. These characters were fine. I did like the unpredictability of like who should live and who should die in this. And I liked the humor. I thought this was very fun and self-aware, and it had great jokes in it. And it just overall was a really fun time. I didn't have a big issue with any of it. Just I felt like the beginning was a little slow. But like in most slashers, that's that way. But in this, it just was kind of okay for the beginning. But as the movie goes on, this is a really, really great slasher movie. Really fun, really enjoyable, incredibly entertaining. I really enjoyed Intruder. So tell me down below what you guys think of Intruder. And if you like this, check my links down below for Patreon, Twitter, Letterboxd. And thank you guys so much for watching.